Most people are looking for, how do I make a life worth living and a retirement worth having? They don't always think about what it takes to do that, and they don't always think about whether or not they're with the right person in order to do that for the long term. They sometimes look at how things feel and what they look like in terms of how a person looks with another person, but the reality is, unless you're really spending time with that individual to get to know their soul, you can't tell what part of life they're in. You also can't tell whether or not someone is available to you for the long term. You see, there's a lot of people who speak a good game and talk a good talk, but they don't really walk their walk. I know many couples that have fallen apart after 7 years, some of us after 20 years, but it doesn't really matter. What matters is whether or not the couple is equally yoked. You see, you have to be equally yoked to be mature enough in order to handle the ups and downs and the challenges of life. Whether a person is living homeless in the street or whether a person is living at the highest level of affluence with a 60-acre spread, it doesn't really matter. What matters is whether or not the individual is being loved well by their spouse and significant other, because it's that love between parents that transpires to children. Those children either become loving servants of the Lord and other people, or they become selfish little shits who don't really care about others. There's a family that I'm worried about right now because the Lord keeps putting on my heart that one of the children looks like the father, and because of that, the mother's not handling him very well. We need to look at what we do in life is to raise the souls of children, and sometimes we have to pull them away from their friends in order to make sure they get on the right path. It can be a painful process, but a parent has the responsibility and the right to do that, to say, we're going traveling this summer, we're going to have an adventure this summer as a family, we're not going to be playing a lot of time with our friends this summer, so say goodbye for the summer and we'll see them at the school year. You have several months to do that with your children. I encourage you to do that. You see, it's the times together with children as a youngster that make all the difference in the world of how they will behave when you are old and gray and can't handle anything else. You see, the manipulative ones try to control their parents' assets, and literally make it impossible for other siblings in that family to live. They lie, they steal, they cheat, they do things to try and get more power with that parent that's remaining, or both parents if they're still alive, but it doesn't really matter. What matters is the love within a family. And a legacy of a father is sometimes lost when he dies because the mother has not learned how to handle the right things at the right time in the children's life. And that's sort of a sad thing. When she's surrounded herself with the wrong kind of people, she doesn't have the support system she needs. A firm and loving, gentle hand that says, I'm sorry you feel that way, but here's the plan for the family. This is where we're going today. What an adventure this is going to be. How much fun do you think we could have today if we really tried? And that's what a man who loves a wife does. A man that loves a wife who has other person's children handles those things. And in life, we have moments of time to say to someone, I love you, and I'm tired of waiting for you to get off your ass and figure this out. And sometimes men talk like this. For those of you who've been listening and don't mind my little bit of proliferation or pontification, I appreciate that, because in life, we say what we really feel. We say how we really think, and we openly need to know not to piss on people, especially on their birthday. Today I went to visit that little girl that I had such a good time with. It's like she didn't even remember what she did that day. It was kind of unbelievable that she was making it like I was being somehow unreasonable. Like, you're the one who climbed across the table and practically sat in my lap after I spent 6 hours practically with you, and openly as an older man I wasn't exactly sure what to do in that moment in time other than lean in, and that was the extent of it. And at that point she was still all loving and kind and wanted to give me stuff more beyond what I was asking for, and that's okay. But as of today, now almost 3 weeks, maybe a month later, she acts like she can't even remember that moment in time. And you know, for a man like me, I don't forget important moments like that. Those are precious to me, and if she hasn't figured out how to make moments precious with a man or anyone else, that's a sad thing. Because in life, moments with people that we love are precious. And that's what I was looking forward today. Moment alone, time alone, before the big event happened in the park with the one that I love. To work things out, to talk things out, to find out whether or not she'll consider me a suitor or not. But the reality is I feel like I deserve to have that hat in the ring, along with the rest of the fellows, because I've stuck it out, and I've literally been loyal. What about the other guys? Have they played the field? Have they done a lot of time with other women while they're dating her? I don't know. I haven't done one thing like that. I've simply waited patiently until it was time, and the Lord has said, it's time now. It's time to be present. It's time to be a force. It's time to be someone to reckon with. It's time to be someone to forgive. It's time to be that man that I am. And openly, that's what I do. I literally wait my turn, and I'm patient about what's right. But here's what I know. I know that if she doesn't get her crap together with regard to her son, she is going to have a hell of a problem during teenage years. I've been there. I've done that. I know what that's like, and I know how to prevent it to a point. But openly, the magic of God is what makes me set myself apart from others. And if you don't want to believe me, that's perfectly fine. But if you're too lazy to come and talk to me and let me blow your socks off with some sort of reading or some sort of marketing advice, that's okay. But the sad thing about that gal who was in her 20s is that I literally spent a lot of time answering all her questions about life, about marketing her business, about doing all these things that would allow her to advance her career, advance her life, advance her income to a point she could really prosper. And you know what? In the 3 weeks' time that she had to kind of put things together, she didn't do one thing different at her table at her booth in the festival. And I thought, what a shame. You just got all this free marketing advice and you didn't take one piece of it because you didn't put it in play for your own life. You didn't think, if I tried this and it worked, what would happen for me? If I don't do this and it doesn't work, what happens for me? Well, you get nowhere. You literally get nowhere. I know people who can't hold a job down because they're so busy trying to put things over on others that they haven't learned how to celebrate the life and the soul in other people. Those people have some lessons to learn yet, and it's an immaturity. I saw someone I love very much the other day at an event, and when I saw her, she was literally maybe 4 yards from me or less. And then she blasted off as if it was a teenage situation. I thought, I don't have time for this. I'm too old for it. I outgrew that long ago. And when a man loves someone, he just loves someone. He doesn't make a big fuss and muss. He just says, here's the deal. I love you. Get your ass here. Let's have a conversation, and let's get this over with. So if you don't love me back, I can at least go on in life. And that's what I've asked for. Now, there might be other people of interest out there. I've certainly seen a few lovelies in the last few weeks, which has been sort of a surprise because I've seen absolutely no one worth looking at, although there was one hot mom at Starbucks the other day. But the reality is I'm not interested in that. I have a heart set and goal on one girl, and she has meant everything in the world to me for the past, almost 7 years. So why would I let go of that just for some pretty little face who can't carry a conversation? You see, the one that I love knows how to talk, knows how to sell, knows how to do things and be a lot of things. But the one part that she hasn't quite figured out is where God fits into the relationship she's in. And I'm not saying anything out of turn. I think that it's important that men talk about how they feel, talk about what they need, and talk about how people can make a difference in their life. Today's my 50th birthday, and I'm literally doing it all alone. I know that I had a sibling show up, but out of line. She actually has a legal document against her name that says she's not allowed to be anywhere near me, not even within 10 feet of me, but that doesn't seem to stop her violating those rules. In life, we have moments of time to make a difference for someone, and how we do that is we show them that we allow God to be God in other people's lives, and we don't steal from them. I've had so much stolen from me in the last few weeks, it's not even funny. They keep getting in and out of my bags when I fall asleep. They go in and out of my storage unit and bring things from my storage unit. Can you believe this? Out of my storage unit and put them in my bags, and vice versa. It's annoying as hell. It's like a little child's game that a little boy plays who just can't figure out what to do. And anything else the man does is illegal, immoral, and the Marines are going to shoot him dead pretty soon because they don't know who I'm working for, and that's the truth. But who I work for is the house of God, and that's what matters to me, that the Lord God of all provides me every single time. Every single time I think I might not eat, He's the one who provides me the food, the generosity, the kindness of a stranger. And openly, even today, I had some woman walk up and say, "Hey friend, I bought this for you." And I thought, I've never met you before in my entire life. Why would I take a beverage from you? And second of all, I'm allergic to what you're just trying to feed me. And I sort of just let her have it. And she actually, apologized and said that I was right, but she was a nurse, and I don't like to play the game with these people. So in life, we have moments of time to prove we are, and the liars of the land are the ones that lose. They lose all the riches that the Lord set aside for them. They lose all the millions that the God had planned for them. They lose all the crowns in heaven when they go home. And that's something I've learned quite well. Now, in life, we have moments of time to be something for someone. You have to decide, how much do you mean to that individual that you're so smitten with? How much do you really mean? Would they give their life for you? Would they protect you in a moment's notice? Would they protect your children, even if they're not his or her own? Would they really care for you in your elder years? Would they really stick with you? Would they feed you soup if you couldn't pick up that spoon? Would they take care of your diapers if you needed it? Would they literally change your clothes and put you to bed if that's what happened with your mind or your heart or your body or whatever that goes on as we age in life? These are the things that we have to look at when we're looking at a life partner. How will that life partner treat us for the rest of our days? Plenty of people get divorced after a handful of years because they didn't think about the long term of love. They didn't think about how to honor that individual. They didn't think about how to celebrate that individual's gifts, and they just thought they'd fix them or they'd do something like that. And that's not what the Lord put you on this earth for. The Lord put you on this earth to find the one that He made for you. And if you've given the Lord some test grounds, in other words, if you said, if a person has this, this, and this, then I'm theirs, you better start paying attention. Because I promise you, I've got everything I'm supposed to have to prove that myself is the right person for her. Thanks for listening.